Welcome to The Third Side with your host, John and Stacey Edwards from thirdsideparanormal.com. Hello and welcome to The Third Side. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And today, we're going to have like some really cool, groundbreaking, unbelievably true stories. So if you've never heard an unbelievably true story, you need to go grab your neighbor or your preacher or your priest. Are they the same thing? That's the same thing, isn't it?
Well, yes, maybe different religions.
Yeah. Or your pastor, or your papal, or the papal's the whole thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Like in Cathology, it's.
I think you should just go on with something else, maybe. Cathology.
Ever since I found out that somebody's making a whole book of words I come up with, I kind of like.
I think they're going to add Cathology. I don't know what that is.
Cathology was like it's like a Prince album. After it was like the greatest hits or something.
Okay.
The Cathology.
Anyway.
Cabal. There's a good word for you.
There was something you said the other night that was really great, and I don't remember what it was, and I wish I could remember. You said it at the house.
Jump in bed with me?
No, remember, and Raja corrected you, but it was really funny. I don't remember what it was. Oh, anyway.
No, I don't recall that at all.
You do remember. You're just not going to tell.
thirdsideparanormal.com. That's the address you need to go to find everything cool in the world. It's all there in one little nugget of a website. Facebook.com/thirdside. That's where we share everything that we care about. Everything that we care about. All of it is right there. Legitimately. Unbelievably. I like big words today.
Yes, you do.
I'm trying not to use any more compound and any more rape words.
Made up words?
Yeah. That was rape rhyme, wasn't it? When you force a rhyme?
Yes.
Rape words probably like...
I think that's something totally different.
Okay. All right.
I think those are the ones you don't type into your computer unless you want someone to raid your house.
Oh, okay. And on Twitter, it's at 3sidepara.
The number 3. Sorry.
That's the number 3. I think I did that 5 times.
Doesn't matter. You did 4 a couple times, and then you did 3, and it's fine.
No, I've never done 4.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yes, your thumb has a mind of its own.
I refuse to believe that. Oh, you're talking about because I can't get my thumb down.
Yeah.
I can do it on this hand.
There you go.
I can't get it down on that hand. It's just kind of, it's good for parties or for hitching a ride across the country. I don't even get tired. It's just like, hey. The only thing that sucks is like when you don't want to be picked up and you're yawning, and people stop. Because they always stop for me. Because I'm I don't look like a serial killer, right?
No, not at all.
Anyway, so today we're going to have some paranormal news to start off the new year with some new fear. There's some really cool New Year's evolution, you know?
We're not going to give this episode like a weird name like that, are we?
We could call it like our New Year's devolution.
No.
Do you like that?
No.
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 New fear year? No.
No.
Maybe we'll just call it Stacey Doesn't Approve.
We could call every episode that. I'm just kidding.
Just because you say I'm just kidding doesn't mean you're just kidding.
Yes, it does.
Oh. Well, with that, here's Stacey with some paranormal news.
It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
Okay, so you ready for some news?
I am ready.
You know, I just happened to remember what it was that you said that was so funny.
What was it?
It was, we were watching that show, and it was like...
Arrow.
Yes, we were watching Arrow, and they were in Hong Kong, and they were speaking Chinese, and you were like, oh, he doesn't speak Hong Kongish.
Right.
And Raja corrected you and said Chinese.
Hong Kongish was, I was absolutely wrong on that one.
It was funny, though.
I don't know. It didn't hit me.
I like how you say things that are wrong, but you say them with such authority that people don't always catch it.
It's because they're afraid. They
They're
might
like,
catch it.
That could be right.
But I might
Instead of
slap
he was so
them.
confident.
So, yeah. It's fear of the backhand.
Is that the same hoodie you wore on the last show? Have you been wearing that hoodie since the last show?
It's a possibility. It's my Viking hoodie.
I see that.
You shall see this once per month. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Unless somebody wants to send Abbott Studios some mad donations. I like this hoodie.
Okay.
And even if they did, it's all they're going to get is more Viking hoodies.
You're over there.
Yes, and I shall remain here.
I think what you're supposed to say is, I own two. See, that would have got you the hook.
Yeah, but how Viking is that? Really?
I guess not really.
I mean, I want to be Viking. Viking would only Ragnar. Ragnar would have one.
The bowl of water where we all spit it.
Ragnar would have one that he wiped off with every time he was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I can't stand about Viking movies is watching them all drink and spit and snot in the same bowl. It makes me sick every time I see it.
I
guess
you
so.
You should not understand.
I guess not.
It's all man.
Okay, anyway, so let's start with some news.
I want to sail halfway across the world and slit some throats and rape some wenches and pillage some goats.
Okay, as long as that's the way you're going to do it and not
No,
the other
that
way
is
around.
the way I'm going to do it. And then if I want to, I'll write law proclaiming that to be the way. Anyway.
Okay, anyway.
Vikings. Harumph.
All right, so let's start with our first story.
All right.
Okay. This is a story about some Russian Navy records that have been declassified recently. And they have some really interesting cases about some UFOs and some USOs.
Oh.
The submerged ones, which I think are really interesting. Sorry, I had a piece of hair on my hand.
Oh.
I was just getting rid of it.
Thought you dropped the ferry off the table.
No, I'd let the fairy stay on the table.
I just pictured it kicking and screaming. Ah.
You have a very odd imagination.
Oh, you don't know.
I just
you have
want to say that.
You have no idea. Yes.
So anyway, former naval officer. Wow, that was hard to say.
Well, sure.
And Russian UFO researcher. His name is Vladimir Azaza. Azaza, I think is what it is. That's a weird last name. Okay, so he thinks that these documents are of great value because he was looking at them, and one of the most interesting cases that he examined was about a nuclear submarine that was on a combat mission in the Southern Pacific. And so during a routine operation, the submarine detected 6 unknown objects traveling in formation at speeds in excess of 230 knots.
Wow.
And it says that the fastest submarine then was the Soviet K-222, which only went 44 knots.
Wow.
So this was like a ridiculous speed. And so the submarine sonar determined that they were heading straight for the submarine. So it's
coming.
yeah, exactly. So the submarine surfaced, and the USOs followed them to the surface and then flew away, is what the report said.
Wow. So it was going 6 times the speed of the fastest sub.
Yeah, I mean, according to these documents and these reports, you know, I guess that's what.
So these pressurized cabins. What kind of havoc can those do on like your mind?
I don't know. I mean, you think maybe there was something other than oxygen being pumped through the submarine?
I mean, there could be some vodka going through that submarine. You never know.
Maybe, but there's also other reports of things around in the region of the Bermuda Triangle.
What were they doing there?
Actually, I don't know. There was just.
I think that's the real problem with the reports. It's like, that's really cool, broski. But what the hell were you doing that? Yeah.
I think they had a report from a retired submarine
we were
commander,
going to Cuba.
Yuri Beketov. He was recalling that in that area, their onboard instruments would often malfunction, which a lot of people believe that there's a USO there in that area, and that's why all the machinery, you know, messes up in that area.
Yeah, I mean, the USOs seem like one of them. best theories that I've ever heard. Everything we've ever watched on them or heard of them. It's so much crazy evidence. It's just, I mean, and plus, what better place to hide something than somewhere we can't get to? And why the hell don't we explore the ocean? Why don't we? I mean,
I don't know that we can.
Like thoroughly explore the ocean instead
I don't think that we can.
I don't think we can go live on Mars.
No,
but
that's not what I mean.
I think we should know what's at the bottom of the Pacific and the Atlantic before we know that.
But when you go so far down in the ocean, the water pressure is so great.
Yeah,
you can't withstand
what the hell
it.
happens in space? I mean, I'm just saying, if we could create the stuff to go there,
you would think. But now these reports.
The only thing that makes sense is we already know,
right?
And we don't go there for a reason.
I'm sure. Now, these reports didn't say that there was something at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle. That was just a theory.
Oh, there is.
But there's also another, some other documents that
I think this is where you get interdimensional shifts. And
probably.
People that go in and out. Like a lot of this, planes that go missing and then next time they hear from them, they're 3 hours further along than they should be. I think there's some kind of weird time slips. And honestly, modern day, you could really explain that. A lot of the airliners that go missing and stuff,
Right.
I mean, it's scary. And what happens at the bottom of a sea? I know your fear of water.
Yes, terrible.
And my fear of enclosed places.
We'd be the worst people to go.
Can you imagine?
Explore the ocean.
You put somebody in a tuna can.
Right.
And put them down that far. And I'm sure it's murky, and I'm sure that there's water coming. I mean,
sure it messes
you can't
with you.
see where you're going. I mean, it's terrible, man. Terrible. And I can only imagine how scary that is. And some of the crap that they've experienced, you see it be classified. They couldn't even tell.
Right. Well, some of the other documents describe an encounter at a place called Lake Baikal in Russia. That's actually the world's deepest freshwater lake.
Wow.
And it's supposedly a USO hotspot with lots of different tales, local people telling tales about
Kelpie.
lights being spotted in the deep waters and swimmers being dragged down by creatures. I mean, lots of just tales. But the documents actually described an encounter between a group of military divers and supposedly humanoid beings in silver suits that they encountered under the water. And the divers were training, and they came upon the unknown creatures, and the divers went deeper to pursue them because they were swimming down. The strange creatures in silver suits or whatever were swimming down to the bottom, and they pursued them, and they never caught up with them, but 3 men were actually killed, and 4 of them were severely injured, I suppose, from diving deep when they shouldn't have, maybe.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. But that was another thing that was in these declassified documents. So a lot of interesting stuff that comes out when you declassify Navy records, apparently.
No, that's amazing. And this is is this for sure legitimate?
As far as I know, it is. This was I don't have here where I got this article, but I mean, it seemed like these were actual accounts that came from these documents. So
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the actual documents.
It's like the smoking AK,
Yeah. So interesting. But I mean, the whole USO thing, that's something that we haven't really, I mean, you probably looked into it. I've seen lots of UFO stuff, but I haven't really delved into the USO stuff so much. But it's really interesting.
Gulf breeze.
Well, let's go on to the next story. And this is a story from Christmas about some fireballs that were seen over Japan on Christmas Day.
Krampus was angry.
What is Krampus? You keep saying that and I didn't know what it is.
No, don't keep saying that. Just continue.
Okay. So this happened actually for several days. It started on Christmas Day, and it was mysterious objects that resembled balls of fire were spotted in the skies over Japan.
They resembled balls of fire, or they were balls of fire?
I think they were balls of fire, but it says they resembled because I assume they didn't actually have one to say this is a ball of fire.
Sneaky fake balls of fire.
Yes.
I hate those. So it was in Japan.
Yes.
So I mean, they probably freaked out.
Yes, and they said that most likely it's just the meteorites that were falling, but that's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has.
They're always like, oh, that's just meteorites.
Yeah.
But it's like you said before, that's not something that you see all the time,
right.
Not this often. So
right.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just you can almost make a comedy show and be like, oh, two ladies hanging clothes, being like, oh, what was that, Mildred? It's just another fireball. And you're like, ah! Mildred.
She fell in a sinkhole.
Yeah. I mean, and while there's this weird.
What's that humming noise?
Yeah. And if it's not your other neighbor, then you're in trouble. You never know what the humming noise is.
Never know.
No,
They
you
can't
don't.
figure it out.
Huh.
Well, anyway, these were seen over a really, really wide area. Reports flooding into observatories all over Japan. I mean, just crazy. And I think there's pretty good video out there.
Fudging incredible video.
Yeah.
Beautiful video. These fireballs are really cool.
Yeah.
They're very awesome. And just being on Christmas like that, I thought it was very Feliz Navidad.
Look at Santa. Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
no, it's not.
Yeah. Look, there's Santa and Krampus. It'd be cool.
Okay, so let's move on to another kind of cool story. I thought this was a cool story just because of, I mean, it's not really paranormal. It's just interesting that this can be done.
That
But
could be a lot of stories.
it's the story about the hacker who stole the fingerprint of the German defense minister
Ooh.
just by watching her on television.
Bullcrap.
Nope, it happened. It was a German hacker claimed that by using high-resolution photographs of the defense minister's hand and just some commercial software that's available,
Wow.
he could replicate the German defense minister's fingerprint. And he implied that it would be enough to hack her security. Like, you could actually use it to...
But he didn't.
I don't know. I it said he recreated the German defense minister's print to prove that he could do it.
Yeah, but he got the print, but did he try like opening her
he
iPhone
didn't.
with it?
No. I think what he did was he did it, and then he said, hey, look what I did. Look what can be done. You need to
Right.
be careful.
Scary as hell, man, because everything is open now
Right.
with a thumb.
Yeah.
Or a finger.
Oh, yeah, you pay for things like that now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because where we watch all those shows, we've been watching Arrow recently. It just reminded me of
We
something
binge
that-
watch. The reason there's the two mentions of Arrow is every week we might have a day together. And we binge watch something.
Yes,
You
that's
never
the best
know.
way.
You never know what it'll be.
That's the best way. But it reminded me of something Felicity Smoke would do, because she would totally pull that off of there and just recreate it, and it would be... So, I mean, obviously, it can be done. I saw it on television. It can be done.
You know what our lovely caretaker told us?
What's that?
If you've ever thought of it, it's already been done, probably.
Probably.
Or you've ever watched it on TV, I mean.
Yeah.
If you've seen it on TV, it's made.
But imagine now that he's done this, how many people will be like, oh, hey, there's an idea. I never thought of that before.
Yeah, that's the crappy
And
thing
now they're
about
gonna
any
get
kind
the
of security
software.
breach. Any kind of security breach. I've always hated that. They're like, oh, well, the terrorists found that we had a weak point somewhere. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Appreciate that so much. Thanks for playing.
So I wonder how many more people are going to try and actually do this.
That guy. The guy that's sitting there right now.
Try and recreate other people's fingerprints.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, and think of
Just to
all the...
unlock my phone.
Think of all the other things you could do with that. Like, if you could recreate somebody else's fingerprints, you could plant them places, or you could... Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were
Yeah.
to commit a crime, you could make it...
Yeah. Sorry,
know.
I was serial killer planting people, not...
Oh, sorry.
You could plant them. Such a nice little tree this would be. There's this little foot sticking up. And...
Okay, so let's talk about...
Sex, baby.
I'm going to skip that one for a second. We'll go back to that one. Let's talk about some sciencey things that are going to happen and are happening right now. Now that it's the new year, and...
It's the what?
It's the new year.
Oh, I'm not sure how that came out. I'm sorry. I'm rewinding right now. It was like, you didn't make words.
I did.
No, it was like, no. It was weird. It's like pork and beans. It was weird.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Some
Pork
new
and
things
beans.
that are happening in space, the science front, sciencey kind of
Right,
things
right.
that are probably going to be important
I'm sure.
coming up. So let's start with the Kepler spacecraft.
Ah, Kepler.
Love Kepler.
Love Kepler.
So apparently it was, they weren't using it. Like, they sent it into space and something happened to it, and they weren't able to use it for its intended purpose.
They were using it.
So they supposedly found a new way to use it to find exoplanets, and they call it K2 now. K2.
Yeah.
So it's got a new mission, and they're using it. They found a new way to maneuver it and stuff, and they're using it to find new exoplanets. And it actually found its first exoplanet on its new mission that is bigger than Earth, but it's not habitable, unfortunately.
Oh.
I think they're looking for a habitable one. I can't imagine why.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, dare say,
Yes.
what was significant about the K2 that made you point and say K2?
I just thought it was funny. K2, like a K2 meter. Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
K2.
K2 meter.
Yeah, because that's
Sorry.
Because they called it K2.
I really thought there was some inside thing I needed to know on that.
No, sorry.
I was like, wow. I
Sorry.
don't remember anything. Sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, they were excited that it actually found its first exoplanets that, like they were looking for. And unfortunately, it sounded like a cool planet. It's like goes around a little sun that's a little bit cooler than ours, but it's really close. So
You'd be such a good travel agent.
be like, oh, it's a cool planet.
It's a nice little planet. It goes around a little sun.
Yes,
It's all lonely.
I have a feeling that it's going to find a lot more, and we'll be hearing about them.
Oh, yeah,
And
I'm sure. Well, we
coming
may
up-
hear about them.
Maybe. You never know. But so we hadn't been hearing about the Kepler, but we're going to probably now. So another thing that NASA is trying to do is their next project or whatever is they want to deploy manned solar-powered airships to Venus. Because apparently, I guess Mars is so yesterday now.
Oh, yeah, Mars is totally
Mars is done.
2013.
We've seen it. No big deal. So they want to deploy, but now they can't actually land on the surface of Venus because it's
Gases.
and sulfur rain and it's hot so they want to use these things they call cloud castles, where they're like
That sounds fun, doesn't it?
round ships that can hover over the upper atmosphere.
Oh, I want a cloud castle.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it says that they're developing a project. A fleet of solar-powered aircraft may build up a whole cloud city in the future.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Cloud City.
Yes, I was telling you. So
That's-
it's called High Altitude Venus Operational Concept, and they're set to send a series of missions to the planet. So first, they're going to send a robot to explore the atmosphere before they send any people up there, which is nice.
Wow.
Yes, and then it says it could be followed by manned missions to orbit, where they stay for like 30 days in the orbit just to
Right.
kind of study it. And then it says later on, a crew of 2 astronauts would spend a year in the atmosphere, and someday maybe they send a lot of them up there and
That's really
see how
cool.
they're looking into
so that
the
makes
future.
like Cloud City and Billy D. Williams and his Colt 45 and Big Venus.
I totally don't
It
understand
was-
any of those references. I'm sorry. I'm sure
You
somebody
don't remember
does.
the Billy D. Williams Colt 45 commercials?
No.
Smooth. Like Lando Calrissian, baby. It was the worst thing I'd ever seen.
Maybe I blocked them.
It was like the Motley. Never mind.
Okay.
It was very bad,
Okay.
stereotypist wise.
But as far as
It's like here, Mad Dog 2020. You know.
as far as like missions that they're planning, I think this one's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I hope that it works and that they actually.
Well, at least if it don't work, we're just out. All our tax money. No big deal. I mean, at
We
least
could
they're
be spending it on other
at
things.
least they're telling us about this one, which means it's probably a cover for something else.
Which means there's already a city up there.
Which probably means it's already a city up there. And there's a sexy black guy sitting on a cloud drinking some Colt 45.
You really think if they could go to Venus, they'd drink Colt 45?
I think he would.
Maybe.
Yes. I do believe he would. And he would like sit on Corinthian leather. I just have a feeling about him. Anyway.
So that was pretty cool.
I used to think Corinthian leather was better than regular leather.
Is it?
Because
Is it
of the way
not?
Ricardo Montalban said it about the cars. You just made me think of old commercials. But he'd
sorry.
be like, but you're new in Corinthian leather, and I was like, oh, wow. I want some of that Corinthian
What's
leather.
the difference?
One's fake.
Oh,
I thought.
I have no idea. I'm not schooled in the arts of leather.
Me either. Obviously. I was just thinking of the Corinthian leather. It's probably not even pronounced that way because it's me.
Probably not.
Because then they would have second Corinthian leather. And
Okay. We're moving on from that right there.
all right.
So other sciencey type NASA things. The Curiosity rover found ancient water on Mars.
See, that's probably the lead story.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
But see, it wasn't actual water. It was like,
You're so funny.
it's at the bottom of the page. I'm sorry. I just went top to bottom here.
Water on Mars is kind of a big deal because water is the base of all.
Well, yeah, but it's not life. It's not
Life.
actual. It's ancient water. It's like just like remnants
Like the
of
stuff
things
under
that
the
they
bed.
study.
Like
yeah.
the bottle you find and you're like, yeah, I
Because
don't know if I'm that thirsty.
They know that Mars lost all of its surface water, and they're just trying to figure out how. And this is like billions of years old.
Right.
Billions. That's a lot of years. That's a
1
long time.
million years old. That's not very long ago.
Yeah. So
1 billion.
this is something they've been working on since 2013, and they.
That's not very long to work on something, is it? And then all of a sudden, like, hey, they found the water.
Well, no, I mean they've been drilling this hole that they found.
Since
this in.
2013?
Yeah,
It
I guess
better
I
be a
think
damn good hole.
Curiosity Rover's pretty slow.
Oh.
But they finally found it, and they got to study
I
it.
could mentally dig a hole in that long. It's like,
Could you?
Yeah, oh, yeah. On Mars, all is possible. That's going to be the slogan for the vacationing. Come to Mars, where all is possible. Hey, it's pretty good, ain't
That's
it?
pretty good.
Yeah.
Telling you, you're in the wrong business. You should be like a marketing or something.
You know what the problem is?
What?
Every business I go in, they tell me I'm in the wrong one.
You think?
Yeah,
Well, maybe one of these days you'll hit the right one.
maybe.
I'm telling you, it's marketing and thinking up slogans.
Yeah, I agree. So if you have a company right now and you want to pay $1 million to me.
For coming up with a slogan. Okay, so let's move on to a story that's...
The ancient water, though.
Yeah.
That's a big,
It is.
it's a big effing deal.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. And it's something they've been working on and trying to figure out for a long time. What they're going to do with that information, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't know what the
Well, they
purpose
do.
is behind the study.
Holy crap. Holy crap.
It's the magic.
It's like that time again. How do you go through that many shows
Without,
without that happening?
because I think that you turn it off, usually.
Yeah, and I did this last time too. I'm telling you. It's the Billy D. Williams comment. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, let's go on to this other story that is actually kind of funny. And you'll think it's interesting. This is about a man named Rory Curtis.
I already think it's interesting.
He's 25.
Rory Curtis is 25. Okay.
Yes. And he was in a car crash.
All right.
A really bad car crash. Are you taking notes?
All right. Well, you said I'd be very interested in it.
Well, no. He actually, the car he was driving, this is from England. It hit a lorry. That's how you can tell.
Oh, hit a truck.
Yeah, and 6 other cars plowed into the side of him during a rainstorm. And he was in this horrible accident. It took 40 minutes to get him out of the car, and he was in a coma. And he had actually suffered multifocal intracranial brain hemorrhage.
Wow.
Yeah, so that just means that the blood vessels had burst and there's blood leaking into his brain.
Could have said it that way.
So they worked on him, and for a long time, let me see how long, it was like forever. 6 days. 6 days they had
What,
to.
really forever?
No, but that's a long time to be in a coma and to not know if you're going to live or die. So when he woke up from his coma, he was speaking fluent French,
Oh, God.
and he thought that he was Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Pourquoi?
I don't know. He thought when he woke up, his first thought was that he needed to get out of the hospital because he was supposed to be acting in a movie, and he thought that he was Matthew McConaughey.
Well, no. You see, that makes it bullshit right there.
No, wait a minute.
Because if he thought he was supposed to be acting,
Oh, stop it.
he wasn't Matthew McConaughey.
Anyway, that didn't last very long. That was obviously something, I don't know what he was thinking of, but when he looked in a mirror, then he was kind of like, he thought that he didn't look right. He was like, wait a minute, I don't look like that. And then it started coming back to him, oh, wait a minute, that's an actor. I'm not him.
Did he say it was homosexual?
No.
Oh.
So that was kind of a weird thing.
I was
that
trying to
sort
figure
of
out what he
went
might have
away.
been doing before.
I don't know. But the French stuck around. He actually is speaking fluent French.
The French always stick around.
And this is one of those situations
I mean, why is it the world works like that? My Matthew McConaughey looks are gone, but I'm still French. Yay.
he actually did study French in school for 1 year, kind of like we did in high school, for a year.
I had 2 years of
2 years.
French.
I did too, but I don't remember
It was
a lick
both
of it.
French 1, but
Well, it's like us. He said that he studied it,
I
but
had
he
for 2
didn't
years.
remember any of it.
I know freaking how to count to 10 really well.
Yeah, that's true.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got to do that
Anyway.
nasal. That's my favorite part of it.
Is that your name? What is that?
Yeah.
So he said that he wasn't very good at it in school, but when he woke up, obviously that part of his brain
Right,
took
that
over.
part of the-
And
'cause you see everything.
he speaks it fluently and still speaks it fluently. Like, he didn't lose that. He kept the French.
See, that's such a cool thing, and it's not as cool as never hearing the language before at all.
No, this is true. This is something where I guess it was just in a subliminal, maybe subconscious, subliminal. I don't know, subconscious. I don't know. But
I don't think you subliminally get fed French. Like,
he got it
I
somehow.
don't see the use of that at all.
I mean,
Learn to be rude in your subconscious mind.
you know, I took 2 years of French and I couldn't speak fluent French for any. I mean, you don't
You can't
learn
speak
that
fluent
much.
English.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean,
You don't learn that much French, even in 2 years in school
No,
or
you
1 year in
don't.
school. So it's an odd thing.
you really don't. I mean,
that happens.
back when we were in school, they were like, after 2 years, you were kind of up to the, hey, where's the church?
Well, here,
You know, you learned at bibliotech
I
or
think-
whatever, bibliotech.
pretty much our teacher
Bibliotech.
taught us, can I use the bathroom? Like, was the first thing, so that if we had to use the bathroom, we had to ask. I just held it during that class.
I learned how,
Just
I learned
like,
how
want
to
go.
to the office was said. Because my French teacher only spoke in French.
Oh, really?
It was a rule.
Ours was not that strict.
We had to pick a French name and all that stuff. I was Jean-Francois.
Of course, your name's John.
Yeah, yeah. But I picked Jean-Francois. I liked Francois.
That's very romantic name.
I was always Three Musketeers fan. I thought it sounded very musketeer-y.
Well, something that was interesting about this particular case is that he was actually treated with an experimental drug during the time that he was in the hospital, and
Conahatab?
he was only the second person in Britain to ever have this treatment. And he made a recovery and was allowed home just 2 months after the accident, after that horrific accident. So whatever this experimental drug they gave him seemed to work
It made him think.
really
It
well.
was a side effect of Hollywood star.
Maybe. I don't know. But that may have had
I would be
something to do
fine
with
with it as long as I didn't become Keanu Reeves. You know what I
You
mean?
would be.
As long as I didn't come out going, oh, I'm here to take your country. Yeah. You're Ted, dude. You're Ted.
That would be your.
You're for lifetime. You're the stoner.
Yeah.
You're the 19-year-old stoner. That's just who you are, Keanu Reeves. You're a terrible actor. Don't get in my good movies anymore.
See, I don't think he's a terrible actor. I mean, sometimes he's a little bad, but I like his movies. So.
He's just the same person.
Yeah,
Which is cool if you're Robert De Niro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if it's De Niro, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to watch this.
If you're Jason Statham,
yeah,
you're like the same person
I'm
every
going
movie.
to watch this. Jason Statham is a sexy beast.
I like Jason
Leave
Statham
my
movies.
Jason Statham alone. There'll be no talk of that. He's always protecting little girls that lost their way. And he kills all the mobsters. He always makes the right decision in the end. And that's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do in the end.
Could be worse. Could be Sean Bean, who dies in all his movies. And
Continue.
Okay, anyway. So we're going to move on to another story. And this is kind of a doomsday prepper story for anybody out there who's wanting to get ready for whatever, the apocalypse or whatever. This is a story about an entrepreneur.
I got a lot of those friends. So if you guys are listening right now, I may or may not be near one right now. And there's a lot watching. In fact, I don't know why I'm attracted to like be friends with these guys.
It's because you'll be ready.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
Well, we won't be ready, but we'll know a lot of people who are ready that we can mooch off of.
And we're going to come visit each one of you until we find the right place. And they're like, oh, yeah, they got ransacked.
Okay, so anyway, this man named Larry Hall, he has installed what he calls survival.
Allegedly. Can you say allegedly? Can you start it over again and say this man allegedly?
Okay, Larry Hall has allegedly.
No, this man allegedly named.
Oh,
Larry
this
Hall.
man allegedly named Larry
I
Hall.
don't know why I like that.
Okay.
Start doing that.
Just saying
When you
allegedly for
introduce me to
everything.
people and stuff. Like if it's somebody you went to school with, this is allegedly Chris. And just to mess with people. Won't that be cool?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Hashtag allegedly. If you can spell
Anyway.
it. Yeah.
He spent years building what he calls survival condos in converted nuclear missile silos that are in the Kansas countryside.
Wow.
They were built during the Cold War, and they're 200 feet deep with walls of reinforced concrete 9 feet thick.
Wow.
So he's bought these up, And in one silos has 8 floors of luxury apartments.
Wow.
And each story has 1,800 square feet of what he says is luxury living space for up to 10 people. We're talking about jacuzzi baths, designer kitchens, that kind of thing. And it says 70 people could live for more than 5 years in one complex.
Jeez.
And it's supplied with its own electricity, its own water, and stored food.
See, I want like all 8 floors, because then we could like use up the bottom floor for 5 years, go up to the next floor.
Well, one of the silos is already sold out. So this man's like rich.
So are these going to be like, are you going to be like on top of other people? Like,
it's like an apartment.
Yeah, but you're going to
thing.
have like one and then somebody, because we could totally kill all the people below us and take their shit.
But you wouldn't need to. There's supposedly enough stuff to...
We wouldn't need to. You're right.
Anyway, so these...
I don't know what happened to him, Stacey.
These pretty much...
I don't know. Me and the boys were just... we went up to play some badminton.
We were in the jacuzzi bath and...
we were to go up to fix the jacuzzi and they were all gone.
So these are, to cater to people that can afford it. They are... One floor costs $3 million. Yeah, for one floor. But there's, like I said, it has its own power, its own water.
Here's a problem. Let me tell you. You want to know the problem?
Yeah.
I don't care what it's got. I know where it's at.
Yeah.
So let me explain something to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's Armageddon, say.
Right.
Okay. Let's just be crazy. Let's just say Armageddon. And I know where that's at.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go and do something and get that. I mean, there's still munitions, Right. I don't give a damn about your 9-foot concrete.
Well, there's more than that, though. It says there's a military-grade security, long-range cameras that come out the top of the bunker so you can see a long way off.
How long do you think that military-grade security is going to
And
last?
a security control center underground can see dangers coming from miles away, and there's a sniper's nest and 2 armored personnel carriers. And I think if he's smart, there's a bunch of weapons down there too, but they didn't come right out and say we have a bunch of weapons.
I wonder what you have to do to get the job to be in like the snipers.
I don't know, but it says that other than what I've already mentioned, it has an underwater fish farm and something grown crops. I can't say that word.
Really?
Hydrophonically grown crops. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'll talk to you about it after the show.
A large underwater. I think it's spelled wrong. That's why I'm having trouble here.
It's okay. You know the reason you can't pronounce words really well
Why?
at college, and that cool light that kid had in the closet. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a large underwater pool and spa, a rock climbing wall, a shooting range, and a cinema. Because that's how you want to use your electricity in the apocalypse.
Watching Matthew McConaughey.
To watch movies, yes.
Maybe him and Keanu can have a team up.
So anyway, he's already working on the next silo. So for anyone that wants to spend $3 million, or if you want to pal up with 9 of your buddies and I'll throw in a bit of it, you can, because 10 people on a floor.
Wow.
So that's only, what, like $300,000 a person?
It's not very expensive. Yeah, we could all go in on a
Not
floor.
for living through the apocalypse, I guess,
Yeah.
in luxury.
The 5 years, that would give us probably 1 year of the way we're really going to live when we're in there. Right?
Because when you're in all that luxury, you don't want to be like,
you're just like
eating rations or something.
I don't know. The cool thing is the fish farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
as long as you don't get attached to them. I mean, you're by your, it's
no, if you're starving, you don't get attached to the fish.
You're into the world. You're like, oh, Sammy.
So anyway, pretty interesting. I mean, for people that can afford it.
Weirdest stories of 2014.
Right.
This is something we didn't do last week even.
Right.
But still, yet it's something I had read. One of the top weirdest stories that were true in 2014 was the man that had to have the emergency surgery to get the live fish taken out of his butt.
Oh.
Did you not ever hear that one?
I think I must have avoided that one.
Yeah, true story.
Did he put it in there on his own free will?
Hopefully the fish didn't freaking crawl up it.
Well, people go swimming naked and they get the little things up in their woo.
No, like fish. like
a big fish. Oh.
Yeah, not like a freaking whatever the hell you're thinking. Like a fish.
I was thinking like tapeworm kind of thing.
Yeah, no, not the stuff on the side of a satellite.
Okay, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Not an amoeba.
They didn't show pictures or whatever, did they?
No.
Okay. I didn't see that story. Do you know, I saw a story about a man in Ohio that put up a manger scene with zombies. I wish I had seen a picture of
I
that.
know, we saw that one major scene, and I really wanted to go put a gray.
A gray alien?
Yeah. Would that be awesome?
That would be cool. Mangers with gray aliens.
I mean, we're not suggesting that people do that next year. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, anyway. So that was all about the bunkers. I just thought that was
That
pretty
was cool.
considering,
They're
you know,
cool.
we talk about that all the time.
No, we don't.
We don't talk about, no, not at all. You know, honestly, if you were the type of person to have a bunker for the apocalypse, honestly, you don't want to tell people where that is.
No, you don't.
It's supposed to be secret. It's a secret bunker.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
You don't want to, like, advertise where it's at.
Exactly.
Well, and you know what else you don't want to do?
What?
Have 9 friends. I'm sorry. I don't have 9 people I trust that much.
If you do bring people with you, make sure they're weaker than you.
Well, you're so cute.
So.
She's adorable. All right.
Okay, so I just want to mention this in passing because we shared this, and I'm going to put a link up for it. But it's another one. It's not an art exhibit, but it's the art thing with the photography of the woman who went all around the world and photographed the ancient trees.
Oh, yeah. I like that much better than exhibits.
Yes. No, this is an
art
exhibit.
things.
This is just
Women that go all
something
around the
that
world.
she posted online, and she's been doing it for the past, her name's Beth Moon, and she's been doing this for the past 14 years.
It's very cool.
Yes.
It's
and the
very
pictures
awesome.
are beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful old trees and
Yes.
love trees. But yeah, just a little snippet.
Older than
Just a
old.
snippet section.
Yes.
Folks.
So that's something that we shared, and I'm going to put another link up for it because you've got to look at these pictures. I mean, they're beautiful.
Fairy houses.
Yeah, so they're all done in black and white. So they're very artsy and cool. And I love the ones that grow up the sides of the houses and out the tops and things like that.
Yeah, me too. I love trees.
Okay, I have one more story for you, and this is kind of our last weird, you're not going to really believe it story.
I don't believe anything you say.
I know. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I'm just playing.
You shouldn't.
All right.
So this is a story about someone that was caught shoplifting in Macy's in Florida.
Right, which is something I'm very near and dear to. Not
Yes.
Macy's or Florida, but
Right, but you lost prevention. You worked lost prevention
maybe
for a long time.
I'm in another life. I may have done
Yes. So
Been really damn good at it.
Now I don't know what she was shoplifting from Macy's. It didn't say what she was shoplifting.
Right.
But she was confronted by the loss prevention employees for Macy's, and I guess she couldn't figure out what she was going to do. She just panicked. So she reached into her pants, grabbed some poop that was in there, and smeared it on their faces to try and get away.
that. Now there's a few black holes in this story.
Right. This actually came from like an actual like ABC or Fox or something. I don't remember.
Right.
Right.
So, number one.
Yeah.
You said that she grabbed some poo that was in there.
Yeah. Apparently, they must have scared her so bad she defecated and then grabbed it.
Nice use the word defecated.
Thank
So,
you.
this feces.
Yeah.
This feces was in her
Hand. It was
in
in her
her
pants.
panties.
Yeah. And then she got it on her hand.
And she just had, because you don't think she just carries a log around. The second part of the problem,
Just in case.
the second part of the problem is they stood there while she drew on their faces with,
She smeared it on their face to try and get away.
no,
Yeah.
I'm just saying no.
Oh, like you wouldn't let her.
No, in the heat of the battle, God forbid
Right.
the person, whoever, tries to get their poo chalk and draw hair on the bald man's head.
Maybe she caught him by surprise. It didn't work. They caught her anyway.
You think she caught him by surprise? Do you think?
I mean, who would expect someone to do that?
A monkey. A monkey would expect someone to do that.
I guess.
A monkey would be like, "Oh, hey, you got me."
I want to know.
That's what I do.
What she was thinking. Like she's running out of the store or trying to get out of the store with her stolen merchandise. Whatever. It must have been pretty important. Whatever it was, and they stop her. And I want to understand why her first thought was, "Oh, let me grab this crap in my pants, and that's going to get me out of here."
Maybe she thought that she's like, crap, there's crap in my pants, and I don't want to have to sit down in that room. So
I'm gonna rub it on them, and maybe they'll let go.
I mean, really, I applaud anyone who's caught by something that isn't really the law, and you've got like a warrant on you or something, and it's between you and them. Okay, it's time to fight. I would fight if it was between me and some really pissed off, that hates his job, hates his wife, loss prevention guy.
How good do you think Macy's loss prevention is?
I'd say they're fancy. I would say they're like Target loss prevention, and I don't care if you guys are watching or are mad. No, I don't care. They're the guys that walk around with like loss prevention hats on. Drive the car that says this is an undercover police vehicle.
Golf cart.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'd say they're fancy, and fancy in a bad way, not fancy like cool. He's like Nouveau and Metro and stuff. No, fancy in a Nancy kind of boy way.
Fancy, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
So
I'm sure they're like, excuse me, man.
So do you think they didn't say, but do you think
like
that
my Dracar?
Do you think she went to such extremes because she had other warrants on her? They didn't say.
Yeah.
But
I would guess. I mean, you don't usually sling unless it's
important.
Hits the fan. And it's just go. I mean, this is a really crappy story.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're sticking up the place.
Not funny.
All right.
I just imagine that guy who got it in his face. Just how do you wash that stink off? It's like you would smell it all the time. Probably.
Yeah, I always moved to France.
True. You fit right in.
Yeah. We're just kidding, France. Anyway, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That was the worst story I've ever heard.
I know. I thought you'd love it.
I mean, now at the end of this year, whenever we do our recall of the year, and I try to think, what was the worst story of the year? What was the worst story we did? It's probably going to be the crap the pants story.
Yes. I don't think you should hold me back with that. I think I can come up with a much worse story than that.
No.
Sometime this year.
All right.
Yeah. It's a challenge.
All right. You're
challenge.
on.
All right.
Lose your bottles of Coke.
Okay.
Like some Coke. Yeah, that's nuts. No. No nuts. But thank you for the specimens.
You're welcome.
We will be coming back next week with an actual guest.
And John will be wearing a different hoodie.
And we'll be wearing different hoodies. We won't be living on the street anymore. We won't be talking about fish. And we're going to be investigating or talking about investigations of related to a big popular group and ufology. That's the only hints that I can give you. But it's going to be a really tubular show. Not tubular.
Oh, maybe. That's just a terrible use of the word. Terrible.
Bad use of the word. Anyway. ThirdSideParanormal.com is the address to go to. Facebook.com/ThirdSide. And at 3SidePara with the number 3. Here, I'll use this because that's the cool hand.
You're not left-handed, are you?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It just seemed like harder for you to do that.
No, this is you were giving me flack about this hand.
I know. I didn't say. I know why you were doing it.
I'm cool hand Luke with this hand.
Okay.
And why you have to ask me if I'm left-handed?
I'm not asking. I just pointed out that you were not left-handed.
I'm ambidextrous.
No, you're not. Okay, maybe you are. I don't think you are, but whatever.
I will sign anything you want me to. I can use my left hand really well.
Okay.
Anyway, for my lovely wife, Stacey, my name's John Edwards. So long from the third side.
Good night.